there, Julie. I was just thinking about you, actually, because here, let me flip this. 1 second. There. Because, Julie, I was just thinking about you, my birding friend, because today we're using the Count on Me stamp set, and I'm just wondering, what kind of bird is this? Can you see that? You see that, Julie? So if you can enlighten me, Julie, on what that bird is, I would appreciate it. Oh, lots of people are jumping on. Very good. I see Julie Heights, Julie Williamson, Joan Sheffy. Let's see who else. Carol Schaefer, Tammy Latrell. Hi. Miss you, girl. Let's see. Oh, a kiwi or a dodo bird? Okay. All right. I knew you'd know the answer. Somebody else says a warbler. Another dodo bird. Okay. Awesome. I was just wondering. Pat, thank you. It was a wonderful bridal shower we had for Andrea. So much fun. Lots of happiness, love, fun, laughter. So it was all good. Hello, Karen from sunny Iowa. Okay, in central Ohio, we have had, I think, every kind of weather we could have today, except warm, not warm. But we've had dark and dreary. We've had bright and sunny with blue sky. We've had, and when it's only 2 o'clock, we've had like a sprinkling rain. We had a sleet and hail. We had snow flurries. I mean, this has been a whole day. It's crazy. Oh, Julie, I bet you, are you getting a lot of snow up there? That lake effect snow? I know. And it, 2 days ago, it was 70 and I was wearing a short sleeve shirt. And today I've got a long sleeve tee on, but I was like, I am not putting on a sweater today. My hands are freezing down here, but I was like, I am not putting on a sweater today. I just don't want to wear a sweater. So anyways, same for you in Cottage Grove, Minnesota, Carrie. Okay. Rainy in Vermont. Oh, did I see New Zealand there? Yes. Oh, the Kiwi is from New Zealand. I thought we had a guest watching from New Zealand. Well, good. Chilly, but at least sunny. I know. Doesn't the sun just make a huge difference? Anyways, happy Friday. Welcome to Stampin' Peace with Mary Nabe. I'm always glad to have so many of you joining me and giving me the opportunity to share what I love with all of you. Today, let's see. Do I have any news for you? No, I don't think so. Happy April Fool's Day. Hopefully you're not getting pranked. My mom, when she was living, she was the ultimate. I mean, I think of April Fool's Day as being mom's holiday. I don't know how she did it. She could fool everybody. She could fool her children, adult children. She could fool the grandchildren. She could fool her coworkers. She could fool her siblings. I mean, and I wish I could remember all of them. I've even talked to my aunts about this. I wish we could remember all of these jokes and pranks she would play on us on April Fool's Day. And I guess I'm very gullible because she could get me every single year. I'm not kidding. Every single year. And then my sister Joan is really good at that as well. I'm not at all. But Joan, there were days I thought, I'm just not answering the phone on April 1st because somebody's going to get me. And then I always break down because force of habit, I'm going to answer the phone, right? And she would get me a lot too. So anyways, hope you're having fun, but not getting pranked too much on this April Fool's Day. If you missed Wednesday evening's Facebook Live, we did a fun technique using word dies. So you'll want to check that out. That has, let me think, did it post today? Yes, that has posted today to stampinpeace.com. The one prior to that, we did some techniques using the Simply Scored scoring tool. So here's the tile technique. And then here we just did some scoring lines in the corner. Can you see that? Just to add a decorative touch to our card fronts. And that has also posted on my blog, stampinpeace.com, so you can check them out there. Before we get to today's card, it's a Fun Fold Friday, so we're doing a Fun Fold card. But before we get to that, I want to let you know that at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, Sarah Douglas, our CEO, will be going live on her page. And there will be some, I believe, some stamping or project demonstrations. And then it basically Stampin' Up! Community is coming together to raise funds for Ukraine. And, oh gosh, I looked up the name of the charity that we're supporting and I forgot already. But Stampin' Up! Has already looked into it, verified, so we know that the money we donate is going to a legitimate reason and will reach the Ukrainian people, the Ukrainian refugees who so desperately need our help at this time. So if you would like to join us to watch the creative demonstration and or to make a donation, that's at 4 p.m. today, April 1st, 4 p.m. Eastern Time. Today, April 1st, and that is on the page of Facebook page of Sarah, S-A-R-A, Douglas, D-O-U-G-L-A-S-S, comma, Stampin' Up! CEO. Okay. I'm going to flip my camera around now. So while I'm doing that, would you please share this live video and maybe we'll get other crafters and stampers to join us. Okay, it's a new month, a new host code, so I'll point that out. Today, the featured products, I should say, are the Count on Me stamp set. This is one that's in our current annual catalog, but we'll be going over to the next annual catalog that begins on May 3rd. And I'm excited because I had not used the stamp set until today. So I always get excited if I have stamp sets that I haven't used that will carry over. And that kind of gives me the push to make sure I use them right away before I get lots of other new products. And I did place my pre-order this morning. I do not do overnight expedited delivery, but I do the 2-day shipping. So I should have that early next week. And when I get that, I'll do a pre-order unboxing video or live. And then the other product we're using is the Abstract Beauty 4x6 Designer Series paper. This is just wonderful. Lots of bright, fun colors and some gold accents. And we've used this a few times since it came out in our mini catalog. So it will be around for several weeks yet because that is in our January to June mini catalog. So today's Fun Fold is called a Dutch Door Fun Fold. Does everybody know what a Dutch door is? I always think of, and this is aging me, but that show, Mr. Ed, the talking horse. And the barn had, the split door, split right in the center. And that's kind of what this is, the Dutch Door Fun Fold card. Abstract Beauty is the name of that paper, Inez. Yes, Abstract Beauty 4x6. It's already cut 4x6, so it's great for memory keeping, matting photos, and definitely making card fronts. So here is my Dutch door card, and I'm going to show you how to make it. It's super easy and so much fun. So to make this, you will start with a standard size card base, 5.5 by 8.5 inches. And I've scored it at 4 1/4 on the long side, okay? Now what I'm going to do is turn it to the vertical position, and I'm going to cut at 2 3/4 inches from the top to just the score line, okay? From the top to the score line only. And you can go from the top to the score line, or you can start right at the score line. And remember that our cutting blade and scoring blade both have that indented line to help us gauge where the actual blade sits, because obviously the blade isn't this thick, it's just a tiny little point there. So that confirms for us, or shows us exactly where that point would be. So I'm going to put my cardstock at 2 3/4, and then I'm going to line this up, that line on each side with my score line. I'm going to push down and cut up. And you could certainly go the other way and just go slow when you get to the score line. Then I'm going to go back and turn this to the vertical or the horizontal position and put it at 4 1/4 inches. And I'm actually going to be cutting right over that score line down to the cut line that I just made. And again, when I'm getting close, I want to go slow. And I basically am trying to line up that indented line on the cutting blade handle with my cut line here. And if I've done it well, that piece will slide right out. Okay? And hold on to this piece because we are going to use it on our card. And you just want to go over that fold with your bone folder nicely. And this is where we're going to be using that extra piece. But before we put that on, we want to add some Designer Series paper. You could even do a layer of, you could even do a layer of cardstock there that maybe you embossed or did some background stamping on. But you know me, I love Designer Series paper. I had to introduce myself to a group of demonstrators recently. You know, how long have you been a demonstrator? Where do you live? That sort of thing. And, you know, tell something interesting. And I said that my go-to product when I sit down to design and create is Designer Series paper. I love it that much. I don't use it on every single card, but I use it on an awful lot. And we always have so many great choices. So the inside of my card base is basic white, measures 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And I can go ahead and put this here. I'm just going to set it there. I'm not actually going to adhere it just yet. But let's do some stamping first. Now, on here, I have the sentiment at the bottom. For this card, I want to place my sentiment first, just so that I know whereabout I want to stamp my bear. And I've just got a strip of Just Jade cardstock. It's 3/8 inches wide. And I know it's too long, but that's okay. I was using a scrap that I just trimmed off. And what I'm going to do is, and it could go at the top or the bottom. I don't know, what do you think? Here I have it at the bottom. I could scoot the bear down and put this one at the top. What do you think? Should I give that a try? I think I will. And I only need adhesive in the center. And if you didn't want to adhere this until after you've stamped your bear, that's fine. But I would, at the very least, I would set it in place wherever you want. That way you have a good idea of where of your spacing of where you want to put your bear. And I'll just flip this over and trim these edges. Feel like I didn't snip quite close enough on there, so I'll do it again. That's better. Isn't that bear cute? I mean, really, and I'm not always into the animals and such, but the animals in this stamp set are super cute, in my opinion. All right, so now I'm going to stamp my bear, and I'm going to color him with Stampin' Blends, so therefore I'm using black Memento ink. That's the recommended ink for coloring with Stampin' Blends. And before I actually color the bear, I'm going to go ahead and stamp some grass below him, so he doesn't look like he's floating in air. You can put as much or as little as you want. I think I'm going to add a little more to this one than my first one. Just kind of filling that in. And that looks pretty good. And then I have decided to use, I was going between crumb cake and soft suede, the browns that we have, and I decided, oh, wait a second, I need to use our new Naturals Tones Stampin' Blends. So I have got, now I have to remember the order I did them. I'm going to give you a tip too. Because these Natural Tones Stampin' Blends, there are 10 different ones. They're all shades of brown, and yeah, I guess shades of brown and even skin tone like. And it's hard for me to always remember exactly what the colors are going to look like and how they're going to blend. And so you can see what I did. So sometimes I was doing that, and I realized what I really need to do is write the number, because I might look at this and think, oh, I love that, but after trying different ones and I go back, then I can't remember the number. These are not named, these are numbered, okay? So I'm just going to, actually I'm going to color the heart first. Let's do that. Get that out of the way. This is Magenta Madness, one of those retiring in colors. And this is number 300 I'm using for the bear. I'm just going to fill him in completely and then go back in with a darker shade to do some detail. So I'm actually using the paintbrush end. Just a little quicker for larger areas. I'll make the snout of the bear a different color as well. Of course, he can be this one solid color, that's no problem. But if we have Stampin' Blends, right, we might as well do some blending. So now I'm just kind of going to outline him with this darker shade, and this one is number 100. So the smaller numbers are darker, the larger numbers are lighter. So they're numbered from 100 to 1,000. This kind of gives them a little shadow too. A little more over here. If there looks like too much contrast between the two tones, just go back in with the lighter tone, like that. And you just keep working it until you get it the way you like. Okay, that looks pretty good to me. I'm going to fill in the snout. And the last thing I'm going to do, this one was number 500. So I started with 300 to fill in the bear. Then I did the detail with number 100. And then I did the snout with 500. And the last bit of detail before I put my bear on my Dutch door card is I'm going to add a little bit of sky. And I'm using Pool Party ink with my blending brush to do that. And I just want it really, really light and subtle. If you want a deeper color, you just keep adding more ink to your brush and blending more. You can see I have just a subtle layer of the Pool Party ink on my sample as well. And now I'm ready to put this on my card front. So I'll adhere the stamped cardstock, the colored cardstock, to the Just Jade cardstock. And remember, this piece of Just Jade is what we cut away from the card base. So while it's a fun fold, it is basically the very same amount of cardstock that we use for a standard card base. We're just using it in a different way. Now here, remember that we only need adhesive on the bottom. And here's my trick for that, to make sure that the adhesive is only where we need it. I put adhesive at the bottom of the piece that I'm attaching, and then I'm going to put some right at the top of my Dutch door. And notice that I'm keeping that adhesive in the area that would be covered by my cardstock. So now so you can see how I'm going to put it together now. Adhesive at the bottom of the attached piece and at the top of the Dutch door. And then I'm just going to center it right on there. Centering it on the whole card. And when I have it where I want it, I just press it down and bam, there's the Dutch door fun fold card. What do you think? What do you think? Do you like it? Quick and easy? I want to note something right here. Do you notice how much darker this bear is? Because I went over the bear with the main color again. So keep in mind when you're using your blends, you don't always have to go to a different color or a different shade. You can also add, make it darker by going back over the same image with the same color, okay? Would you like to see one more? What time is it? 2:25? Okay. Still not over this sinus infection, and it's not that bad, really. It sounds worse than it is. The only problem is I don't sleep, so I'm really tired. But anyways, let's do one more. And this time, let's use Magenta Madness, another retiring color. So again, I'm starting with 5.5 by 8.5 piece of cardstock. I've scored it at 4 1/4 like I normally would for a card base. Oops. And I want to turn it to the vertical position, put it at 2 3/4, and I'm going to cut down to my score line. And when I get close to that score line, I'm going to go slow and watch it from the side because I want to line up the line on my cutting blade handle with my score line I made on the card. And then I'll turn it to the horizontal position, put the left side at 4 1/4 inches, and I'm going to cut right over that score line till I get to the cut line that I just made. And again, slowing down when I get close to that cut line and lining up the blade where I need it. So for this, I'm once again using the Abstract Beauty Designer Series paper, but I've chosen a different pattern. This is one of my favorites. I think this one actually is my favorite. Ooh, that's pretty too, isn't it? But I've already cut this, so I'll use this. So this measures 2.5 by 4 inches. The DSP measures 2.5 by 4 inches. Oops, come on. Well, there we go. 2.5 by 4 inches. I'm going to go ahead and add my basic white cardstock to the inside of my card. Measures 5 1/4 by 4 inches. And then the piece I cut away is also 2 3/4 by 4 inches. And note that the white that we're using for the stamping is the same size as the DSP. The DSP and the white layer are both 2.5 by 4 inches, okay? 2.5 by 4, because the two halves, the top and bottom, measure 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. All right, let's stamp something different this time. I'm going to use this cute kangaroo with the flower, and no matter what, I'm here for you. And I'm going to change things up a little bit, and I'm actually going to stamp this on Crush Curry. Crush Curry is one of the coordinating colors. So I'm just adding another pop of color with the Crush Curry instead of doing more of the Magenta Madness. Whereas our first card was all tone on tone, basically. Oh, that looks pretty good. I'm going to see if I can get it a little centered better here. Centered top to bottom. Oh, yes. Very good. And now let's see. Do I want this at the top? Oh, I kind of like it like that. I might even do a banner cut. So I'm not going to adhere it yet. I'm just going to set it here because this is about where I would put it. Whether I put it all the way across or do a banner cut. And I'm going to stamp this cutie. Again, I'm stamping with the Memento ink because I'll be coloring with Stampin' Blends. she look like she's leaning forward a little? Trying to try that again. There we go. And let's go ahead and color this. I'm going to start by coloring the flower. You know what? Okay, we do not have a Stampin' Blend for Crush Curry, so I'm just going to use my Stampin' Write marker, and I don't mind using the two different markers because that is just a small space. All right, I'm going to add a little pink to the nose and maybe to the ears a little bit. Okay, then the hard part for me is going to be choosing the blends that I want to use for, and I'm thinking it should probably be lighter. Now this was the bear, so it's pretty dark. Looking like the center maybe is lighter. Oh, there's a little leaf. I should color that in. And I'm just going to use a Just Jade Stampin' Blend. All right, where's my scrap paper? I'm going to try this. So this would be 600. This is 500. And this is 800. Which is pretty light. Let's see what these are. Those are even lighter and pinkier. How about this one? This is 700. I want to see what this looks like. Oh, that's these two? Or the 500? Does it really matter? I don't know. This is the kind of thing that stumps me at times. Okay, I'm going with 500 for the main body here. And I suppose if I like it just like this, I don't necessarily have to use a second shade. Only if I want to. I think it was Julie's comment I saw a few minutes ago that said she wasn't really into coloring until we got our Stampin' Blends. I always did like to color, but I have to say the blends really are my favorite coloring tool. And second to that, I would say the watercolor pencils. But I don't use those or the Stampin' Write markers nearly as much as I do my Stampin' Blends. And I'm just going to go over some parts, give a little more shading here. sometimes when you're trying to add some darker areas with the blends, kind of think of, you know, if the sun were shining or a light were shining on your image, maybe from the front or a side or the top, where would the darker areas be? Where would the shadows be? That sort of thing. And then I'm going to use, I guess I'll use this number 800 for the center here. Oh yeah, I think this will work out nicely. I'm definitely not an expert on colors of animals. All right, I'm going to once again add some grass, and I'll go with the Just Jade again. And I'm using Just Jade because that's the green that is in this paper pack, Abstract Beauty. And then I'm going to add some sky, and then I will add my sentiment. Remember, when you're working with your blends, especially when you're doing background areas, start on your scrap paper first and then move towards the cardstock that you're coloring. And that's really, well, for two reasons. Number one, that you don't set it down on top and get like a blob of color. The other thing is you can see how much, you have a better idea of how much ink is on there and how dark the background will end up being. I'm going to add just a little more grass down here. And you definitely want your ground, your grass, whatever it is, blending into the sky if you can do that. Okay. So again, the white was 2.5 by 4 inches. Same size as my DSP, 2.5 by 4. I'm going to adhere this to my Dutch door, so I'm putting adhesive at the bottom of the layers and at the top of the door. And then I'll center this on the card. It's like a fun springy card, doesn't it? And I'm deciding, you know, I think I'm going to do a banner end on this. So let me cut off one end. Cut off a little bit more here, and then I'll make the banner cut with my Banners Pick-a-Punch, which is in the new catalog. Yay! This is one of my go-to punches. So I was thrilled that it's sticking around. Yeah, I'm going to cut one more time. Just get a little bit closer in there to the words. And then I'm going to add this with a couple of dimensionals. I just happen to have some black ones here, so I'll use that. Which was my front and back? I think that's my front. I'll lower this just a wee bit. And I already have in mind who I'm going to send this card to. Just a friend who needs a little support. But I am going to give away this bear, I've Got Your Back, to one lucky winner. And if you would like to possibly win this card, the Dutch Door card, would you please now type in the comments, count on me, count on me. So that will help us all remember the name of the stamp set that was featured today. Count on me. Okay, there we go. Now I'm seeing that there's a delay in between what I'm doing and what you're getting. So it seemed like a bit of a long delay there. So I hope you enjoyed today's demonstration of making a Dutch Door card, Dutch Door Fun Fold card. And again, the featured products are the Count on Me stamp set, very cute critters, and I love all the different sentiments, great for offering support and encouragement, thinking of you. And then we also used a couple of the patterns from the Abstract Beauty 4x6 Designer Series paper pack. Isn't this one fun? I need to use some more of this. But the Abstract Beauty DSP is in our January to June mini catalog, so you don't need to worry about it retiring soon. It'll be around for a bit yet, so you might want to take advantage of that really pretty and fun prints. All right, everybody, have a wonderful weekend. I look forward to showing you another creative demonstration on Monday at 2 p.m. And perhaps later today, we'll see each other on the 4 p.m. Eastern Time Facebook Live of Sarah Douglas, CEO of Stampin' Up!, who will be, I guess, doing some kind of project demonstration. I don't know exactly. And then telling us about raising funds for Ukraine. So just another way that the Stampin' Up! Community comes together to make a positive difference in our world. And making a difference with using our creativity is part of our Stampin' Up! Statement of the heart, or mission statement, as some would say, but our statement of the heart. So perhaps I'll see you then. If not, I hope I see you Monday, and have a great weekend. Bye-bye.